UFC Vegas 53 Font versus Vera. This is the weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. Looking forward to talking about this one for a final time, especially after seeing the fighters on the scales. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and share the video as well. And we will jump into the first fight of the night. It's one that I have been excited about all week. It is Tatsuro Taira versus Carlos Candelario. I'm high on Tatsuro Taira as far as a prospect. I do think the skill set is going to be fun to see. I'm really looking forward to see how he matches up against a legit test and an 8-1 Carlos Candelario. Earlier on in the week, the pick was Taira. We'll check them out on the scales and see if anything changes. There is Carlos Candelario. There is Tatsuro Taira. Both guys seem to have, no difficulties as far as the weight cuts. And I mean, for young prospects, that's definitely a good sign. You don't want to be struggling on the scales early in your UFC career. Debut for both. I'm still riding Tatsuro Taira. I do think the grappling game is going to be there, but I also like Taira's stand-up. I feel like he's a pretty good kickboxer. I do think he can outstrike Candelario in this matchup. I do think Candelario might look to get it to the floor. I see Taira actually having an advantage on the ground as well with the grappling. To me, it's Taira win. I'm liking submission. Thinking second round, but I also feel like this could be a fight that goes the full distance. I think Japan has a legit prospect here in the flyweight division. I'm banking on Taira for the win, and I'm very excited to see it go down. As far as the lines for this matchup, Taira is a minus 225 favorite. Carlos Candelario, the plus 205 dog. I like Taira even in that minus 200 range, especially more so a parlay piece. Over a round and a half, minus 195. I do think it goes over, but I don't really want to touch that line. Over 2.5, minus 110. Don't like the under. I'm not really craving here. Personally, I like Taira more as a parlay piece or a money line attack. I'm looking forward to seeing his debut so we find out more about him because this is a big test here. But he is a confident pick. Taira win via submission will be plus 230 for inside distance, plus 135. I do like the sub. Plus 230. I do think Taira gets it done. I'm very excited to see his debut. He's a guy that I'm looking forward to. I think Japan's got somebody special, and I'm ready to see if he's what the buzz is about. We're going to see. We're going to find out. Next fight, Gina Mazany and Shanna Young. I like this matchup from Mazany here. Earlier on in the week, I was on that Gina Mazany side. We'll check them out on the scales. There is Shanna Young, looking good, ready to go. Neither girl struggled on the scale. Mazany looks even filled out on the scale. She looks very good. There is the face-off. I think Mazany's wrestling can be on display in this matchup. I think Shanna Young, not a heavy enough puncher to substantially threaten Mazany's striking. I actually expect Mazany to rip some overhands. Southpaw versus Southpaw matchup, which will be fun to see. I feel like Mazany's going to look to wrestle. She does train with James Krause. I expect improvements. Now, 33 years of age. Not saying she's an old girl in the fight game. There's still time here, and I do think there's still time to make improvements. Similar records, 7-4 for Young, 7-5 for Mazany. I'm not super impressed with Young's stand-up. Very upright kickboxer. I think the chin's there to be hit. Mazany's not necessarily a knockout puncher, but she is going to wing some overhands. I do think she gets this fight to the floor and controls Shanna. She could beat her up and get a TKO, but I'm going to bank on decision. I like Mazany by decision here in this fight. Official pick. Now, as far as the line, Mazany's a minus 174 favorite, and Shanna Young, the plus 164 dog. Let's see. As far as the plays, over 1.5, minus 275. I'm confident in. Less so and over 2.5 at minus 162, but I don't think it's a horrible play. Mazany by decision, plus 175. I like more Mazany as a straight money line touch or parlay piece. I am considering doing like an early night parlay that I could easily hedge with Mazany and Tatsuro Taira to start it off. And it's one that I think comes through. And I'm riding with the Gina Mazany side here over Shanna Young. I think she beats her, and I am picking decision. Next fight of the night, Mike Breeden versus Natan Levy. Earlier on in the week, I was on Mike Breeden. It seems that the general consensus, though, is that Natan Levy side. People are fairly confident in him. They're not, jumping at the bit with excitement for Natan Levy, especially after a tough fight against Huffa Garcia. He didn't look great there. We're going to look at Mike Breeden on the scale. I want to show you guys the body Mike Breeden's bringing, because one of the things in his debut, we saw him on short notice come in chunky. He's shredded on weight at 155, ready to rock. He came in at 158 for his debut. He wasn't at his best there, and Hernandez took advantage. Natan Levy looking lean, ready to go, got a little tan for himself. Even when he was on the scale, though, I will say Levy looked like he had a bit of a weight cut. You could feel it. Seemed like Breeden had a little easier time. Didn't seem as exhausted on the scale. Doesn't really matter, though, because both guys on weight. There's the face-off. I think Mike Breeden's going to surprise a lot of people here with this stand-up. I think the wrestling defense is there. I feel like striking with Natan Levy, Breeden has the advantage. I like Natan Levy as far as on the mat, pure jiu-jitsu. But as far as overall MMA with a wrestling base that Breeden brings, I don't think he's easily taken to the floor and beaten on here by Natan. I think we're going to see Mike Breeden get a win by a competitive decision. He's a pressure striker who will eat shots. Levy, not a huge puncher. Don't see a significant striking threat. I think Mike Breeden will move forward, pressure. He's going to unload some combos on Levy. He can't get overzealous, and if he does get on top of Natan Levy, you have to respect the grappling game. As I've talked about all week, that Nick Compton fight in FAC is a little bit of a concern because he was nearly armbarred there against a lesser guy, but somebody with grappling chops. Levy could catch him in something. Granted, lesser experienced guy. I think Breeden's experience can win him the fight. I like to stand up the wrestling defense. Mike Breeden win via decision over Natan Levy. He is a big underdog here. Not huge, but still big. Plus 172 for Breeden. Natan Levy, the minus 185 favorite. I am on Mike Breeden for the win via decision as the dog. Let's keep running up. Yohan Lainesse versus Gabe Green. Very excited for this matchup earlier on in the week. I'm riding the Yohan Lainesse side. I do like some of the advantages he has standing up. There is Yohan Lainesse. Looks good, ready to rock. Gabe Green looking jacked. He looks jacked as always. Gabe Green is a pretty built dude at 170 pounds. There's the face-off. Gabe's a big, strong guy, big traps, not chinny, but I think Yohan could touch Gabe Green's chin and put him down. I do expect Gabe to pressure. Now, if Gabe Green can take the barrage that Yohan probably early will attack with, and we go later and Yohan gasses, we could see Gabe Green getting a finish. But I like the Yohan Lainesse side by knockout in the first or second round. I think Green is there to be hit, and I feel like Yohan can take that chin clean off. I like win by knockout by Yohan. I expect Gabe Green to be in his face and get caught and slept here. Overall, the matchup has me pretty damn excited. I think this is gonna be one of those like sleeper fights of the night, and it's gonna deliver. As far as the line here, Yohan is a plus 116 underdog. Gabe Green, the minus 120 favorite. Looking towards the prop side of things, under 2.5 rounds. Minus 185. I think we're going the under. I like that under 2.5 play. If you're looking for an over-under, that's playable there. Under 2.5, minus 185 range, minus 170, best value. Don't love under 1.5 at plus 115. I think it's riskier. Lainesse by KO is plus 265. Green wins inside distance, plus 175. I'm going Lainesse. I do think he wins by knockout, plus 265. Straight dog money, plus 116. Very exciting matchup here, but I like under 2.5 more than anything at minus 185. I'm confident that this fight ends inside of the distance for either side, but I'm riding with the dog, Yohan Lainesse, by knockout as the prediction. Next one is Daniel da Silva versus Francisco Figueiredo. Seems like Da Silva's riding with that last name. He's not going with Lacerda because the UFC called him Da Silva. Figueiredo, I will pull up the scale real quick. Earlier on in the week, I was on Da Silva, and I'll tell you, look at Figueiredo. I just don't see any excitement in this guy. Am I overcritical of him? Maybe a little bit. I wasn't impressed at all in the Malcolm Gordon fight. He seemed like he was on gear one the whole time, and he's sleeping half the fight. I am not trying to trash Francisco. I believe he has a decent game. But I don't even like the energy I see on the scales. He's a low-energy guy, and he's fighting Daniel da Silva, who doesn't go the distance, never gone distance, win or loss. I don't see Figueiredo as a huge finisher. He does have a decent sniper, but I don't think it's going to be on display here. I think Daniel da Silva chokes him out. I like Daniel da Silva win by submission. I'm thinking second round, might even be the first. It'll go to the floor at some point, and I think da Silva's going to throw up a lot of attacks. I think he can get the back of Figueiredo potentially. Striking, I think da Silva still has the volume and pressure. I'm really excited to see Daniel fight on a full camp. We saw him on short notice against Jeff Molina, and he did get stopped, but he gave a great first round. He's fighting Francisco Figueiredo, being prepared for this matchup. I think Daniel da Silva is going to look pretty good out there, and I think he does get a finish in the first 2 rounds here, and I'm going to pick submission over Francisco Figueiredo. As far as the line, Daniel da Silva, -117. Francisco Figueiredo, +114 as the underdog. I think under 2.5, -110, +102 at best value. I think we're ending inside of the distance on either side. I like the under 2.5 again here. I'm so excited for this fight. I like Lacerda, da Silva, whatever he wants to go by. I'm a fan, and I'm excited to see him throw down. Lacerda by submission, +520. Da Silva by submission, I should say. +375 at Bet Online. So if you're looking for a sub prop, I like Da Silva's sub prop here. I think he's going to choke out Francisco Figueiredo under 2.5. I'm very confident in and expect a fun fight here because Da Silva's never gone distance. Both of his losses, KO losses here. Shoulder injury and then actually getting slept by Jeff Molina. Very good fight and one that I'm excited to see. And I like the ground game a lot of Da Silva. And I'm looking forward to seeing it on display. Featured prelim of the night, Alexandr Romanov versus Chase Sherman, heavyweight division matchup. And I always talk about how big Romanov is. He came in all-time light, 236. This was Romanov that we know. This is the Romanov we know. A little chubby, heavy around the midsection. What did he come in for this Espino fight? Do we have the weight? He comes in at 264 pounds for the fight against Juan Espino. He fights Jared Vanderaa. He comes in at 265. He comes in chubby. He weighed in 236. Let's look at him on the scale. There's Chase Sherman. He's going to lose this fight. He's got a very minimal chance. It doesn't look as good as when you watch the video. If you haven't watched the official weigh-in highlights at least, go through and watch them. Because Romanov looked lean from the other angle. Like you could see that 2-pack up top. You see a little definition coming in. He's lean. Romanov is in shape. And I believe this is because he gassed against Espino. Maybe he's like, okay, I need to get my gas tank on point. I need to be able to go long. Grappling, he's got the tools. There's the face-off. I think Romanov gets it to the floor, and I think he's going to win by submission or TKO in the first 2 rounds. I love seeing him get lean, but it is a little concerning because now Chase Sherman is technically the bigger man of the two, whereas Romanov, known for being a big dude. We'll see how it affects his physical strength. The lines are crazy. -1,610 Romanov. Chase Sherman, the +1,300 underdog. If you are a wild man and you're like, hey, I want to play some crazy bet, Sherman by KO, best value, +1,800. Sherman money line, you can play it at crazy numbers as well. I mean, just throw down on the money line. If you like that side, I don't think he's going to win. I think we're going under a round and a half, which is swelled all the way up to -285 at best value. I think we're going to see Romanov for the win. Romanov wins inside distance, -650. It says +440 at Jazz. I doubt that's true. I believe it's a mismark. -560. Romanov inside distance. Romanov to win by knockout is +130 best value. Romanov by submission +120 best value. Your best bet there is picking between which method of victory you think happens. I'm leaning the sub side, but I kind of see Romanov sitting on Sherman and ground and pounding him out. Either or, it's going to end inside of the distance, and there's no money to be made on that one. So I guess coin flip it there. Romanov, very confident pick, should get the win. If you're wild and you want to play Chase Sherman, and if the upset does happen, you'll look like an absolute Mystic Mac, go for it. I'm not going to be doing so. I got Romanov with a dominant win in the first round or 2 here on the floor, and I'm going to pick submission. Let's jump to the main card. If you guys haven't yet, make sure to smash the hell out of that like button. And if you're new, subscribe to the channel. Keep it locked in here at MMA Experts. It's Gerald Meerschaert, GM3 versus Krzysztof Jotko. Fun middleweight matchup here. I'm really excited to see them throw down. Earlier on in the week, I'm on that Meerschaert side. We will look at the face-off. There is Meerschaert. Looks lean, ready to go. There is Jotko. Similar. Intense stare down. Jotko brings a little bit of intensity. He seems like a wild man. Krzysztof Jotko's best bet is to be patient and win a decision, not being overzealous. Meerschaert, best bet is to have the fight towards the floor, whether on top or bottom, and he's looking to lock up a sub. I like the odds of Meerschaert winning by submission, especially in the front headlock position. I think that's where you can catch Jotko. Jotko could definitely make a competitive standing, maybe even outstrike him for 3 rounds and win a decision, maybe take him down, and then somehow Meerschaert can't lock something up, but I think he's gonna. Jotko doesn't bring a lot of punching power, so I will say this. I think Meerschaert takes more risks in this matchup. He can go out there and maybe let it go a bit. I don't think he's chinny. He's been knocked out a couple of times, but I don't think Meerschaert's chinny. I think he's just been slept. It happens when you got a ton of fights, 34-14. He's been around for a long time. I think Gerald Meerschaert's going to win by submission in the second or third round, and it's a very interesting fight. Looking forward to seeing it. I know some people are on that Jotko decision side, but I like Meerschaert. He's an underdog too. He's sitting at plus 153. Jotko at minus 162. Meerschaert to win via submission. Plus 375. I like that submission prop. I will be touching it. I think I have to play it here for Meerschaert. As far as money line, Meerschaert plus 153 is not bad either. I think there's a good chance we go over a round and a half, which is around that minus 205 range, minus 200. But I think the over-unders are a little risky here. I like Meerschaert dog play. I like Meerschaert sub prop play. If you're on the Jotko side, I mean, he's not terrible at minus 162. If I do see Jotko winning, it's probably a decision at plus 185. Personally, don't like it. I like Meerschaert underdog win via submission to get this main card cooking here. Let's jump to the next one. Darren Elkins versus Tristan Connelly. I like this fight. And I think Tristan Connelly has the game to beat Darren Elkins. Earlier on in the week, I'm on the Connelly side. We'll pull up the scales. Connelly looks terrible at weigh-ins. I thought this. I said, man, he looks bad. Like, he looks sunken in. Like, when he took those glasses off, he looked like a damn zombie. The damage looks like his normal self. Doesn't seem like a terrible weight cut. There's the face-off. I don't know. For some reason, I'm worried about Tristan Connelly in this matchup looking at that face-off. I don't know why. It's something with the glasses. I don't know. Some conspiracy I have. Something. Some type of weird intuition. I'm still riding with my guy Connelly to win the fight, but Darren Elkins is not going to go down easy. He's not going to make it easy. The wrestling scrambles will be competitive. I think it could be an ultra-competitive fight that might even be a split decision, but I'm picking Tristan Connelly for the win. I do think he could stifle the wrestling game of Elkins, maybe even mix in his own takedowns, work well against the cage, get into a sloppy kickboxing match, and out-technique Elkins. I believe he's the better technical stand-up guy, but Elkins is a junkyard dog who can take a beating and has in the past and came back. You look at the fight against Cub Swanson, we're concerned about the chin. But it's Cub Swanson. He can box his ass off. He was sparring with Tim Bradley back in the day, who's champ caliber. True champ. Not even champ caliber. He is a world champion multiple times. Tristan Connelly, recent loss to Sabatini. Don't look too bad. Sabatini's a good fighter. Before that, beat Michel Pereira at 170. Now he's at 45. His natural weight was 55, but he cut the extra 10. We'll see what happens. 36 versus 37. I'm going to go Connelly, the underdog, but I do always think Darren Elkins is live to win the fight. As far as the lines, Connelly's a plus 157 dog. Elkins a minus 163 favorite. Elkins might outdog him. Over 2.5 rounds, minus 200. I think we're going the distance here. I like minus 200 over 2.5. I feel like Connelly has the durability to survive, and if somehow he loses the decision to Darren Elkins, minus 200 over 2.5, you won't be too upset. Now, if you're attacking the dog, I do think Connelly by a decision is the official pick, so that prop is plus 320. Kind of rather play plus 157 Connelly money line, but I do think he's going to get it done by a decision here. Darren Elkins, the damage is always live, though he's not a dog here. He's the favorite, too. Very fun fight. I'm excited to see what happens between these two. Connelly didn't look great on the scales. I'll still ride with him, but with a bit more caution. Whereas earlier on in the week, I was a little more amped on Tristan Connelly. Next fight of the night, Jared Gordon versus Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson. I'm excited to see it, man. I'm picking the Grant Dawson side. At least I was, before the scales. I've already seen the guys in scales. I watched the weigh-in, so I'm still on Grant Dawson. There's Grant Dawson. There's Jared Gordon. There's the face-off. I don't think it's an easy fight for Grant. He needs to fight smart, keep the pace a bit lower. You look at Joe Selecki, a really good grappler, who Jared Gordon was able to get the better of over the 3 rounds, losing bad in the first. Dawson can't go nuts in the first and think just because he secures dominant position that it's going to be safe all night like that. Jared Gordon is a guy that's there for the 3. And he's not an easy matchup. He can box a bit, has a decent plotting boxing. He's going to get in front of you and look to mix it up with the hands a bit. Dawson, I think, moves better, but I don't love the stand-up game of Dawson at all. Gordon might stop some takedowns, and it's going to be a challenge for Grant. I think Grant wins a really hard-fought decision. I think Jared Gordon's a tricky matchup, and it's good for Grant Dawson to get more time, especially 18-4. Jared Gordon might be like one of the more underrated guys in the UFC lightweight division. He definitely is live in this spot as a dog, especially Dawson coming off that Ricky Glenn fight. He finished bad. Ricky Glenn finished fantastic. It was a 10-8 third round. It was a draw. Dawson was done at the end of the fight. Jared Gordon could be in that similar position. He's a guy that can go long. He's got a good gas tank. I'm going to ride with Grant Dawson to get a competitive decision win, but not supreme confidence here. Now, as far as the line for this matchup, Grant Dawson is a minus 176 favorite. Jared Gordon plus 175 as the dog. I think we're going over 2.5, minus 225, minus 220, best value. Dawson to win by decision, maybe you're playing it, plus 155. Gordon to win by decision, plus 280. It's a juicy dog side. Gordon's got that big plus money, plus 180. It's an interesting matchup. I'm riding with Grant Dawson to win. Jared Gordon's live here, and I'm not going to disrespect the guy. This is a fight for Grant, and he needs to prove himself here. I'm going to pick him to win. I think he gets it done on a gritty decision, a sweaty decision. Over 2.5 is my favorite bet here. Grant Dawson for the W. Hard fight. Featured bout of the night. Andre Fili, Joanderson, Brito earlier on in the week. I'm on that Andre touchy Fili side. There is Joanderson Brito. His lips are chapped as hell. That weight cut's getting to him here. It was a hard cut. Fili don't look bad. Granted, he's got a lot of ink that could cover up any true drained looks or smaller muscles, but he looks good. He looks solid. There's a good face-off. A little Nate Diaz action with the hands up like that by Fili. I like Touchy Fili's experience, man. He's been fighting the best, or at least maybe not the best, but upper echelon for a very long time. He trains at Team Alpha Male. He deals with shorter wrestlers. Joanderson Brito, a shorter, stocky guy with power who looks to grapple. Kind of overzealous at times. I think Andre Fili can outstrike him technically. I think from range, he'll have the better boxing, but Brito could still land some power shots. I do think Fili's pretty durable. Wrestling, Brito's going to go hard for it. I think Fili defends. I think hard-fought decision, Andre Fili. Not an easy fight. Maybe Brito looks to rip the low kicks. Pineda got a little success ripping those low kicks early. But I think Fili's going to be smart here, and he's going to get himself a win. And I mean, Brito could gas, and Fili could get a late finish too, because Brito's a guy that goes hard for every shot. Joanderson Brito, plus 210. Andre Fili, minus 200. I like Fili, minus 200. I do think he wins the fight. I do think decision. Over 1.5, minus 280. Over 2.5, minus 160. Fili to win a decision, plus 180. See what Fili to win in round 3 is looking like. Fili to win in round 3 is plus 850 at BetOnline, plus 1,100 best value. I like Fili to win. I like him by decision, but I think round 3 is possible. Wouldn't be shocked if he finished Brito here. It'd be a huge performance for him. And keeps bumping that stock up for Fili. He was destroying Pineda, too, when they fought. Fili's hands are underrated. And I think he gets a pretty clear W against a tough prospect in Joanderson Brito. Fili for the win, though. Co-main event of the evening, Jake Collier versus Andre the Pitbull Arlovski. The legend, Andre Arlovski. So many years in the fight game for the Pitbull, and he's still here, and he's in a co-main event spot. Earlier on in the week, I'm on the Pitbull Arlovski side. Let's check out the face-off. There is Jake Collier, looking thick. It's crazy he was at 185 in the past. Look, he cut a little weight, too, to get to the 265. Lightly, though. Not a hard cut. There's Arlovski. The Pitbull gets double picks. And there's the face-off. Arlovski's a lot taller than Collier. That's interesting. Collier's listed at 6'3". Arlovski's 6'3". It looks like Arlovski's 2.5 inches taller than him. That's weird. Arlovski, for me, the boxing is going to be the key to victory here. Not getting caught with anything stupid, defending takedowns. Jake Collier technically can't strike at the level of Arlovski, but he still hits hard. And he's a big dude. And even though hits hard, he's a hard hitter, but he's not a knockout puncher. Jake Collier has not got a finish at heavyweight. Went distance with John Villante. Went distance with Carlos Felipe. He got a finish. He got a win over Chase Sherman. He choked him out. At the end of the day, Chase Sherman, not Andre Arlovski. Arlovski beat him. Granted, it wasn't a decision. Arlovski's a decision guy. That's how he wins. He wins technical, hard-fought decisions. Arlovski has not been knocked out since he fought Rosenstruik, I believe, in 2019. So the chin of Arlovski, if you want to question it, you can. It's understandable. It's heavyweight, but he fights smarter than he used to. This isn't the brawler Arlovski that's going to just get in your face and look to go to war. This is technical Arlovski, who's going to slip, move, avoid you, at times duck that head and throw those flurries like you saw in the OG days, and he'll bring it out a little bit. I think he wins a decision that's nerve-wracking because Collier is a live dog. I think Collier looks to grapple a bit. I think Arlovski defends. You're going to see the level difference as far as technique. Collier still tough dude, a lot of experience. I mean, 265 pounds too. Arlovski only 246, so 19-pound difference. I think Arlovski for the win. I'm expecting Jake Collier to, by fight night, he's 272. Arlovski win by decision. I think he beats Jake Collier here. As far as the line, Arlovski minus 122, Jake Collier plus 118. Arlovski to win a decision. The value of that prop is plus 135. Collier by knockout might get a touch, but I'm not feeling it right now. The intuition earlier on in the week has dropped a little bit. I'm not feeling that Collier by KO that much. Plus 420, plus 400. It could happen. Mike Finch is picking it, the co-host of Moneyline. He likes Collier as his lock of the week. As far as the straight money line, plus 118 for Collier. He's a dog. Arlovski, minus 129, best value. I don't love betting the 43-year-old Arlovski. So if you want to go against him and play Jake Collier, maybe Jake Collier by knockout for that big plus money, I don't blame you. Over 2.5 is going to be a sweaty bet at minus 205. It's Arlovski winning. It's probably over 2.5 rounds. I like Arlovski for the win. I think he gets it done. He beats Jake Collier on a decision in an interesting co-main event at 43 years of age, fighting a guy 10 years younger who used to fight at middleweight and it's ballooned up to a full-size heavyweight. That's crazy. Arlovski for the victory. Main event of the evening. It is Rob Font versus Marlon Chito Vera. If you guys haven't yet, make sure to smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. This is such an exciting matchup. Earlier on in the week, I'm on the Marlon Vera side. I broke this fight down on the money line with Sergio Pettis. That was an absolute blast. If you guys haven't seen that, check out this week's money line. I got the Sergio Pettis breakdown inked up in the timestamps. Make sure to watch that. It was great. I am on the Marlon Vera side. I think the smaller octagon's going to be a factor. Rob Font missed weight, guys. 138.5 for Rob Font. Comes in a bit overweight for this matchup. Is this a strategic move or is this a true weight miss? Because you know what? There's a chance Vera's going to look to grapple him. Maybe that extra 2.5 pounds is a little more strength on fight night. Font did look like he had a bit of a hard cut, though. He looked drained. He looked sucked out. You can't see great abs. It seemed like something wasn't great with Rob Font. It boosted my confidence a bit more in Chito Vera, but I'm not playing it just by the scales. I think that Marlon Chito Vera is going to win this fight, and it's not going to be an easy one to win. He's got more tools standing up, but Rob Font has a precise jab, an excellent jab. His stand-up game is good, but Vera's more dangerous with the 8 limbs. I think Vera's got a better clinch game, work some knees and elbows. Grappling, I think Vera's better on top. I think Vera has the better wrestling of the two. I do expect him to look to exploit Rob Font and take him down. It's not going to be easy to do. Might take a few rounds, especially you're going to see Vera. He's got to get past the jab, attacking those kicks, attacking those legs with low kicks. Super smart strategy. I think that's what's going to lead Vera to the victory here. Attacking the low kicks, doing more than just trying to throw punches with Rob Font. He's got to get inside, make it dirty, make it gritty, fight in the clinch, use the 25-foot octagon to his advantage, press Rob Font back. He's not going to be able to move all night in that 25-foot octagon. At some point, he'll be forced in the clinch. Vera needs to take advantage of every one of those opportunities. Marlon Vera for the win. I'm going to pick him by decision. As far as the lines, Vera's a dog, plus 110. Rob Font, minus 115 is the favorite. How we going? Over? I think we're going longer. Over 2.5, minus 260 best value. Over 3.5, minus 185 best value. I like that over 3.5. Over 4.5, it should happen, but it will be a little bit nerve-wracking because both guys can strike. And it's such a fun fight, too. Minus 160. I like the Vera dog side. I'll probably just play that money line and sit there and get ready for the war that's going to ensue. I actually can't wait for this matchup. This is top-level bantamweights, and there's a lot on the line for both, but especially Marlon Vera if he's looking to eventually, really make a run into the upper echelon. He's right there. His last loss is to Aldo, who's top 2 contenders. As far as Vera by decision, plus 325. pretty big line. I know some people like Vera by sub, so I will list it off. That's plus 900 best value, but you can find it even as low as plus 240. And then Vera by TKO, which I don't think happens here, plus 500. I think it's Vera by decision. That's my pick. Could be a submission. Overall, exciting matchup. Marlon Vera, the pick for the win, the dog to get this main event win and signature victory for his career, and just sends him straight to the best. And I'm very excited for the future. Exciting weekend. Such an exciting weekend. I'll be live for the full card on the channel. Make sure you tune into that Fight Companion. Got a shoey coming up for you guys. We'll do it at 105 likes. I'll even do a second one. I'll throw that like number out on the live stream. So make sure to tune in. Smash the likes here and subscribe if you're new, but we're not done yet. I do want to finish it off with some parlays, some potential plays that we could go towards that I'm feeling good about. Now, I am feeling good about the over 2.5 here. I like over 2.5, Dawson, Gordon. I talked about it on this week's Best MMA Bets. I like Tatsuro, Taira, plus 103. Safer play, yes. I do think it happens. Now, if you're like, listen, I don't want to risk the Grant Dawson fight. You don't want to play over 2.5. You definitely could be on the other side saying, I don't want to play Taira, who's debuting. You want to go start it off with some heat. Plus 120, Mazany and Taira for the win. I think both of them get it done. Both are favorites. I like the odds at plus 120. But of course, it's a bit of a dangerous play. If you want to go more towards attacking maybe some underdogs, maybe you like Marlon Vera, and maybe you want to match Marlon Vera up with the Grant Dawson and Jared Gordon over 2.5, about plus 200 money for that. I do think that one comes through as well. If you like Vera and you want to touch him with Fili, plus 191, I don't hate that at all. I actually think that's a pretty decent play. If you want to just go dog attack central, you could go Vera with Meerschaert, plus 425, but I get a little nervous there. Connelly's the pick as a dog that I've been feeling good about, but the scale concerns me a bit, but I don't think it's a bad parlay piece if you're looking to Hail Mary it and hit it light. Vera, Connelly, 2 dog attack, plus 425. If Marlon Vera at the top is not your guy, I don't blame you. There's definitely other ways to play it. You could touch up with Fili. You could go you could go Taira, Mazany, plus 205. Do you want to add in a little more risk? Somebody that's maybe close money, like a Yohan Lainesse, plus 540. Maybe not. I'm going to leave him out. Let's go Lacerda. Lacerda, Mazany, Taira, Fili, plus 440. I think these fighters can all get it done. I like the over 2.5 rounds a lot, plus 675. This week's Best MMA Bets, I got the in-depth parlays. Like if you want the absolute craziest of attacks, I think we came up with like some absolutely nuts ones. So definitely check that out. And I did bring the graphics back for the parlay section of this week's Best MMA Bets by popular demand. So yeah, definitely tune into that if you haven't already seen it. There's good ways to play. There's ways you can maybe go under in certain matchups. What's an under that I'm liking? Gabe Green and Yohan Lainesse. If you can find under 2.5 and you want to time it up, you parlay that with over 2.5 for Gordon and Dawson. It's plus 117. I actually think that could be a hit or two. Touch that in with one more line. Do you go Fili plus 200? He should definitely win. Do you add in Taira down at the bottom here as I go through everything? Taira down at the bottom, plus 326. You want Mazany? Let's go nuts here. Let's add Mazany in. Okay, you want a dog? Let's go Connelly. Plus 1556. You're going bonkers if you're playing this one. But if you want to go nuts, there's a lot of ways to do it. Guys, overall, this card is going to be very fun. I'm excited to play some bets on it as well. Tune into the live to watch me place those bets and enjoy the hell out of the action. I'll be doing the full play-by-play. I love those fight companions, and we're coming back with heat. We're coming with heat this weekend. It's a great card. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to smash the hell out of the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on and share the video as well. Much love to everybody's support, and I really appreciate you guys. We're on the ride up. That Sergio Pettis piece in the money line was absolutely fantastic. If you haven't seen it, make sure to check that out because that was a huge moment. I've been a follower of Sergio for a long time. Seeing him world champ and then getting him to bring that belt out, that was an epic moment for the channel. Much love, my people, and we will see you all in the next one. Peace.